Oh, wow.
Okay, that's a little better. Sorry, let's dark at first. Hi, welcome to Nurse Needles podcast. My name is Talia. Wow, I can tell I worked last night. My first reaction is to say, "Hi, my name is Talia, and I'll be your nurse tonight." No, I am your host today of this podcast. And
She's Francisca Jessica on Ravelry and on
Claire. I'm sorry, I just rolled out of bed and I had about 3 hours of sleep. So, this is my mom, this Lady Fernico on Ravelry and Plurk. And today is Monday, July 16th, 2012. And I actually might not be able to knit and talk at the same time this time around. We'll see. Anyway, if you are new to the podcast, welcome and thank you for stopping by. And if you are a previous viewer, thank you for coming back. I'm going to jump right into works in progress. I've made actually a fair amount of progress considering the fact that I worked this weekend. My first project is in my Egyptian Kitties apron bag. And the pattern is Heather Yoke. It is the Solveig Yoke pattern by Eleanor Brown. I'm making it for my grandmother in the size 39.5. I'm using US 5 and US 8 Knit Picks interchangeable circulars with 16-inch and 24-inch wires. The yarn that I'm using, I forgot to update the all the yarn I'm using. I'm using Knit Picks Andean Treasure, Meringue Heather. I'm sorry. It's Knit Picks Andean Treasure is the yarn. The colorways, because it's multiple colorways, it's a colorwork pattern. I'm using the Aurora Heather colorway, and that's the main color. Other colorways I'm using are Meringue Heather, which is a kind of off-white, Mystery Heather, which is a dark gray, Grove Heather, which is a light green, and Fog Heather, which is a light gray. And the other colors actually have the names of the other colors written down. I picked up 2 extra colors for it because I needed them. I also picked up Tide Pool Heather, which is a lighter, like a greenish, bluish color, more blue than green, and Sapphire Heather, which is a really nice, pretty blue. So, here's some of those other colors. This is Fog Heather. This is Mystery Heather. Grove Heather. Aurora Heather. And I'm just waiting for the 2 blues to come in because that was a last minute decision. I was like, you know what? I don't want to repeat colors. I'll just skip the ones like I'm supposed to.
That's a funny voice.
I'm dropping stuff. With so many balls of yarn, there's not quite enough. I'm going to be right out of the screen for a second. Okay, there we go. I lost my pen, my yarn, everything. Okay. So I've started on the color work. But I guess I should tell you what stitches you need to know first. You need to know how to cast on, to knit, to purl, to make one left, which is to increase, to make one right, which is to increase, to slip, slip, knit, which is decrease, to knit 2 together, which is also a decrease, to wrap and turn, which I have not done yet. You need to know also how to work from a chart and how to do stranding. Well, I started stranding. Let me see which is the right way. Let's do this way. No, this way was right. Okay. As you can see, the color work has begun. Let me stretch this out a little bit more so you can see it a little better.
She looks at the inside too.
Oh, that's why you can't see it. Well, we're over the sleeve. Yeah, the sleeves are attached now. After all this time, it's finally starting to look like a sweater. So as you can see, the pattern's starting to take some shape. Am I up high enough? Yeah. So I'm really happy about that. There's the inside. It's not overly pretty, but that's typical for stranded sweaters. I decided this is the first time I've done a stranded sweater. Some people work with both yarns in their dominant hand, the one that always carries the yarn. Like they'll have both yarns in their left hand or both yarns in their right hand. I initially learned to knit English and then switched to Continental, and it just made more sense for me to knit with both hands holding yarn. So I carry my background color in the pattern in my left hand and then my pattern color in my right hand to make the pattern color pop out a bit more. And it works out pretty well. It keeps nice even tension. So I'm very happy with that. I didn't realize how close I was last week to getting to this point. And plan on working on this more tonight. So that's that one. Hopefully I'm like a month out or something from finishing it. Who knows? I keep thinking I'm a month out.
You never ending month.
I did not work on my legless project, the Vivian by Osalda Teague this time. Just didn't have the focus for working on cables this time. I got really excited about the color work of my heather yoke, so that didn't get worked on. Neither did I work on my Jewel Magic project, which is a damask by Kitman Figueroa. Yeah, that. I need concentration for lace work, and I haven't been able to provide it right now. I have, however, and I even remembered to bring it with me this time, remembered to work on the pattern I'm calling Christine, or the project I'm calling Christine. Initially, the pattern was DVD Simple Toe-Up Socks by Denise at Lost City Knits, and I was using the Crystal Heel by Lynn D.T. Hirschberger, also known as Color J Lynn H. Well, at this point, the pattern very vaguely resembles a DVD Simple Toe-Up Socks. I'm only taking the toe increases, and even then I'm not doing the toe increases that she told me to. I took my toe increases from the Racing Hearts pattern. They do a knit front to back for an increase, and I liked that. I thought it was easier with smaller needles than to make one left, so I did that instead. So, I'm using US Knit Picks fixed circulars with a 40-inch wire and a magic looping. I'll use a US one for the heel. My Knit Picks metal needles came in, so I slipped them on and took out my Harmony Woods because I kept being afraid that my Harmony Woods would snap or something. They feel like toothpicks. These are a lot slipperier than the Harmony Woods, but I don't feel like they're going to break my hands. Let's see. I'm using Wild Hair Fiber Studio Merino Superwash Wool in the very creatively named blue pink colorway. For this pattern, you need to know how to cast on, and I use Judy's Magic Cast On. There is a video on YouTube if you're interested. It gives you a nice little toe at the beginning, which is nice. You need to know how to knit to purl to make one left, which is the increase, or you need to know how to knit front and back, which is what I did. You need to know how to pick up stitches to knit two together, which is a decrease. You need to know how to Kitchener for the heel. And you need to know Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off for the cuff at the end, because these are toe-up socks. And there's also a YouTube video for that. I'm working 2 socks at a time. This is not just a ginormous, or this is not just a teeny weeny bra or bikini, as people at work say when they see me working on it. And what I'm doing different also from either the patterns that this is supposedly based on. You can't see it really right now, but after the toe, which I just got out of the toe increases, I noticed, first of all, I noticed the last pair of socks I made that when I took my slippers off, the sock came off right with it, even though it fit really well. It seemed really loose. So I was wondering if some ribbing might help, like a one-on-one ribbing on the main sock. I might find it uncomfortable, or I might not. I'll never know until I try. So I'm doing a one-on-one ribbing for the main socks. That's knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, all throughout to try to make that a little tighter. It'll stretch to my foot, but I think it'll hang on a little bit more than just straight stockinette. I might be wrong, but we'll see. And then I plan on using a 2x2 ribbing for the actual cuff, so it kind of stands out a little bit. And this will be an afterthought heel, which is the crystal heel. So here it is. I really like the yarn. I keep liking it more and more each time.
Well, that looks awfully purple.
It is awfully purple.
So it looks even more purple.
I can't see it anymore, but
It's kind of dark in here today for some reason.
maybe it's going to storm again.
I like it.
It rained last night.
I didn't hear anything.
I was in someone's in a patient's room, and it was raining. Not in the room, but outside. Anyway, the next pattern that I worked on, or project that I worked on, is the one I'm calling VTAC, just because, well, the pattern's called Racing Hearts. That's basically VTAC. It's a pattern by P.J. Allen and Carol Warren, who is Cost Shirley of the Girlfriends Knitting podcast. She's doing a Couch to 5K and a knit along. The proceeds for her pattern go to the American Heart Association, and she plans on taking those proceeds to an American Heart Association hosted or supported walk, a 5K that they're doing. Either she's going to walk the 5K, or if she can't do that, she'll at least bring the proceeds there. The pattern is written both toe up and top down. I am doing the toe up version. I'm using US1 Knit Picks Fixed Circulars with a 40-inch wire, and I'm magic looping. I'll probably use a 0 for the heel. I'm using Desert Vista Dye Works yarn, the Couch to 5K colorway, and a portion of the proceeds for that yarn will be going to the American Heart Association too. So very awesome, both Desert Vista Dye Works, who, I'm sorry, I can't remember your Ravelry name, and I can't remember your name on Blurb. But it's really awesome for both Carolyn and Desert Vista Dye Works to do that for the American Heart Association. Anyway, for this pattern, you need to know how to cast on, and I use Judy's Magic Cast On. You need to know how to knit to purl, to knit front to back, which is an increase. You need to know how to knit a short row heel, which will be a new thing for me. I've always done afterthought. And by always, I mean for the one sock I've finished and the second sock I started.
One sock at a time? You haven't finished a pair of socks?
I'm going back to bed.
Not until you finish this podcast.
I'm going to bed right now. You'll take over. You need to know how to slip stitch, to wrap and turn, to knit through the back loops, how to read a chart, to cable 2 front, and you'll need a cable needle for that. To cable 1 back, again, you'll need a cable needle for that. And you also need to know a bind off, and I'll use Jenny's Surprisingly Stretchy Bind Off again. And here is, it's not very far along. It's even less worked on than the one at work. I actually had time to knit at work this weekend, over my lunch break. Oh, I'll put that back in my bag in a second. I mean, it doesn't look like, I didn't do very much since the last time I showed it to you guys, but I did enough that I wanted to show you. I think I did like half a row, maybe a row. I think it might have been a row. But I worked on it, darn it. Counts.
So you're saying you're sticking to it.
final thing that I've worked on is the Fire cardigan, which is the Hyannis cardigan by Kirsten Hipsky. I'm working it for me. And by the way, everything else that I mentioned except for Grandma's colorwork sweater, it's all for me.
Me. Mine.
Yeah, no. So it's for me. It's a size 36 bust. It is worked on US 10.5 and US 9 knit picks, interchangeable circulars, with a 40-inch wire and a 16-inch wire. I'm using Valley Yarns Huntington in the colorways red, mustard, and harvest orange. And I'm working all three of those yarns held together. For this pattern, you need to know how to cast on, to knit to purl, to work ribbing, to knit two together, to slip knit, which is a decrease. You need to know raglan shaping, how to pick up stitches, how to knit buttonholes. The pattern doesn't tell you how to knit buttonholes, and sometimes I find that when you have buttons, it kind of bunches weirdly. So I'm going to add a zipper instead, and I believe it's a zipper stop that if you send in a swatch of your yarn, they'll try to match your zipper to it. So I'll link that in the show notes, like I did last week. And you also need to know how to Kitchener. I actually got a lot done on this. I went to Joni Knit's podcast's knit along on Thursday nights, which was very fun, but I got a lot of knitting done then. Before, I think I just got to now the ribbing, and now, I'm almost doubled what I did last week.
With a lot less mustardy now that you've got it further along.
Yeah, the red's starting to show through more. And if I put a red zipper on there like I want to, it'll emphasize the red. So yeah, that's all for knitting for me. I have no crochet.
She's abandoned crochet. My turn?
Yep, it's your turn.
Okay. I went to the knit along as well. That was fun. I've never done that before. It was neat to see people that I'd only heard of through the boards. I didn't work too much because I was getting to know people and I was too curious to work much on anything. But I did work on things during the week. And the first thing I worked on was the Half Log Cabin Ombre Blanket by Pearl Soho. Still working on the first square, but I did make quite a bit of progress. And I don't have my little marker, but I think last time I was about here, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, I never showed my marker on anything this week.
So I made quite a bit of progress. It doesn't look like I made very much progress if you look at the ball. This is going to be a very long square, I think. But
you're using red heart. Those balls of yarn last forever.
Yeah, it's a long.
And you're knitting it instead of crocheting it.
So this is probably going to be a fairly good sized blanket, I'm thinking. I've used okay. Talia said the yarn I'm using is for my stash. It's Red Heart yarn. The whole 9 different colors are Red Heart yarn. They're Super Saver, and I'm using creams and tans and browns and reds, pinks, things like that. They get progressively darker. I had originally had a blue in there, but the blue just didn't work right unless maybe I'd made it a center, and I already started this as a center. I didn't want to start over again. I'm working this on 10.5-inch Haya fixed circular needles on a 32-inch cord, and it's moving very quickly along. I'm really enjoying it, much more than I enjoyed the baby blanket that I was working on. So thank you, Nicole, again, for getting me started on this one.
And that's Nicole, who is Hot As Knitter. Although I actually guess it's supposed to be pronounced Hot Ass Knitter.
Yes, yes, Hot As Knitter.
On Ravelry and Flirt. And she has the Positively Knitting podcast,
which is very funny. You should go see it if you haven't seen it yet.
Yes.
My next project is a crochet project. It's my Blue Heaven sweater. It's a size small. It's by Lisa Gentry from the book The Crochet Closet. And this one I have made a lot of progress on. I'm really happy with the progress I've made on this one. I'm almost finished with my first ball of yarn. This one I do have. I always lose my hook when I take it out of the project bag. I did. Take it out of my Erin Lang bag. I always lose my hook. But I'm about half to 2/3 of the way up the back part of the sweater before I have to do the shaping. And you can see where this large orange little stitch marker is. That's where I was, and this is where I am now. I don't know if you can get an idea. I'm crooked. There.
Yeah, it's just very dark in here for some reason.
That's how far I've gotten. I've made quite a bit of progress. I'm hoping that I'll be able to begin the shaping sometime this week. If I have a chance to work on it. I really want to finish this by September so I can wear it on retreat, but we'll see.
That's kind of like my aim for the fire cardigan, but you know.
This pattern calls for an eye hook, as I said before. It also calls for a medium weight yarn, but Lisa Gentry's patterns for some reason seem to run big on gauge. So in order to get the gauge, I've had to use a D hook and a lighter weight yarn. I believe that this is a DK weight yarn. It doesn't really say.
I've noticed that most crochet sweaters I've worked. Now, granted, 2 of them have been Lisa's, but most of the gauges I run large.
Okay, well that's something to keep in
So
mind.
but I do. If it's crochet.
Well, I don't know, because everybody that I've seen on the boards has mentioned that Lisa requires at least a drop of 2 or 3 hooks and possibly even yarn size. The patterns are fantastic. I love the way they're written, and they work up really well. At least this one is. Anyway, I'm using a D hook with the Plymouth Happy Feet yarns, the DK or sport weight. It's 90% superwash merino wool and 10% nylon, and it's, like I said, kind of a federal blue or country blue colorway. It's really pretty. You can't really get it accurate. It looks a little more sky blue than is the federal blue in this light. But that's the color I'm using for the sweater, and I really like it. In order to complete this project, you need to know how to make a foundation chain, how to single crochet, how to double crochet, how to slip stitch, how to repeat a pattern, how to skip stitches, how to increase, to decrease, and do some shaping, whip stitch seams, weave in sleeves, and work buttonholes. And I don't think I'll go the route Talia was doing with the zipper, but I think I will want to add.
I don't think a zipper would look as good as that.
No, I would like to add a few buttons down the front, and I'm going to add some length to the bottom, I think, because I like my sweaters a little bit longer. My next project is another crochet project. It's I call it the Claret. It's called the Recuerdos de Infancia Shawl by Gabriela Ordonez. She's also known as Gabriela on Ravelry. And I didn't make a whole lot of progress on this, but I'm happy with the progress I have made. My very stylish Ziploc bag here. Let's see if I can get it out here. Kind of tangle up. Here, hold this for a second. I'm not sure what I've done here.
You just flipped it around.
I think that,
There we go.
there we go. Okay. It's a little bit, I'm going to have to get one of those yarn sleeves, I think, because when Talia put this on the Swifter for me, it's not real tight, and it comes loose. I'm not sure why.
Are you complaining about the job I did for you?
No, I just need to get a sleeve on it. Let me see here. I just want to get this untangled before it gets any worse here.
Mom, this is one attached to your project.
Okay, just carefully pull the project apart. There we go. All
Pull
right.
the project apart, really?
It's not the project. It's, oh, and I lost my hook. Okay.
You told me to pull the project
I
apart.
did. Okay, wait a minute. Where?
Oh, you actually didn't mark your stitch, did you?
Yes, I did. It's right here.
So what's this over here?
I don't know what that is.
Is that the bubble?
This is my stitch. Okay. I'm a little further than I was. I think I did 2 rows on this, and it's starting to show the color variation. It's very, very subtle. I'm not sure you're going to be able to see it in the center piece here. It's really red, and then there's kind of like a little orange
Yeah, they're gonna be
I can't.
they can really tell it's red.
Red. Yeah, I can't.
Mom,
Make it darker.
Mom, stop moving.
I don't know if you can see it. It's very dark for some reason in here, but it's a very, very bright red, and then there are shades of orange here and here, which, well, it's hard to show here. You can't really see it. Here.
Yeah, it's very dark
here.
for some
I'm not
reason.
sure why. I think we probably should turn the light on.
Yeah. Oh, get up.
My martyred daughter. Anyway, I've done about 2 or 3 rows, and it works in a triangle rather than across the bottom.
I'm not sure it's really going to help any.
Well, I meant the light behind us.
Oh,
So I'm working it in this direction, up and down, and turning it around. And it looks a little uneven right now, but when I turn it around and start working it, it evens out.
Let's see if that works. I'm not sure it's really going to make too much of a difference.
Can you see any more color on it now? I don't think it works too much better. Okay.
I'm not getting
well,
up
that's
again to
okay.
turn it off.
That's okay. Maybe the next place that we.
It's just dark
so
today.
it's dark in here. I think it's going to rain. Okay, so on to the meat of this here. I'm using Knit Picks. I'm sorry.
Knit Picks, huh?
I am. I'm using Knit Picks Fingering Weight Gypsy Tonal Yarn. That's this colorway. And I have 2 skeins of this, of 4,000, 4,000? 2,000, I don't know what the yardage is, let me see. 462 yards each. Boy, yes. And I am, yes, I'm
only half of it is
well, I'm using half of the yarn right now. And in order to create this, you have to know how to chain, how to slip stitch, how to half double crochet, triple crochet, skip stitches, crochet a picot, however you want to say it, P-I-C-O-T, crochet a shell and follow a pattern, and follow a chart and a table, at least be able to read the table. I haven't gotten that far, so I'm not sure exactly what the table is for. Right now I am on a 24 times pattern repeat. I have to do it 24 times, so the pattern's becoming a little bit more second nature to me, which is good. Having said that, I'll probably go and try to do it and mess it up, but
which is what you did when you tried to do that during the knit night.
Yes. Was I working on that?
You tried briefly, and you kept messing it up.
Okay, well, that's this one. My last pattern, I'm excited. Yay. I'm excited about this.
Oh, that's right, you did cast it on.
They are having, I said I would never do probably more than the ombre and baby blankets for the knitting, because I just didn't feel comfortable with knitting. But I wandered over to Anastasia Knits group, and basically I usually do the crochet things over there, but there was a little notice on her board about a KAL, a K-A-L, KAL, knit KAL, and this is for a cowl, and it's all knit, and I'm just really excited about it. I joined the KAL. I'm going to do this KAL. There's no real time limit. One of the ladies who's doing it is a brand new knitter, just like me, even though the other lady I think is a veteran knitter. It's in the Kydal group, and it's called the Cariad KAL by Kelly Menzies, also known as Kydal on Ravelry, and it's a knit-only pattern. The funny thing about this, it's really kind of cool, is that you're not using the same size needles. In order to knit this, you knit with one US 15 and one US 13 needle at the same time. So you have odd-sized needles, and apparently what this does is it opens up or makes a little more obvious the little bobble stitch that you use in the knit and gives you a nice pattern. So this is as far as I've gotten on it. You can see I'm using straights because the pattern requires straight needles. Although if I do it again, I might see about getting the larger circulars, interchangeable circulars, and just putting one on each side because it's really bunched up. But this is the color, and this is it's on the It's on the 15 right now. This is the 13 on the other side, and I'm having a hard time keeping the.
Mom, you should get the. Do you have the solitary?
Well, I can't find it right now, so that's why I put these on. But so so for this one, it's knitted on one US 15 and one US 13 needle, and I'm knitting it up in the Lion Brand Hometown Solids Multis in the San Diego Navy colorwise. Colorway. Yes.
And these are the Clover Takumi needles.
These are the Clover Takumi needles. I didn't know exactly what they were. These were a gift from my daughter, as was the yarn, because I didn't have anything this size, because I didn't think I was going to be knitting anything that needed this size.
And I don't use straights.
So I've started on this. There's no time limit. I'm liking the way it works up, so I'm thinking that maybe I'll do more than one of these, even though I'm not sure how I would like a cowl. I think it'll be kind of cool. And I don't know what the name is yet. I'm thinking about calling Arwen, because for some reason the whole hood effect reminds me of Arwen and Lord of the Rings. So I think this is going to be called Arwen. So that is my last on the hooks on the needles. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I have half my project on the hooks and half my project on the needles. Excuse me, my watch is beeping. And I'm done.
Alrighty, and that brings me up to that next. Well, I guess I kind of have to mix two things, so I'll go to that afterwards. I have no FOs. Do you have any FOs?
I do.
Okay.
I do have an FO. I worked really hard because I wanted to finish this. I'm so proud of it. This is my Ojichi bear. Chi. Ojichi is my Chi bear. Okay, he's finished.
Is a gift for?
It's a gift from my mom, along with the Wolf Farms lavender lotion and soap.
And this yarn is the same yarn she used to make a scarf for Grandma.
Yeah, this is it's actually the same colorway. It's not the exact same yarn.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, but this is Red Heart yarn, and it's all scrap yarn. I have no idea what kind of yarn the black is. I just happen to have it. I was going to use black embroidery floss, but it called for black yarn, and the floss didn't seem thick enough. So I put black yarn in. I'm still not happy with the way I've sewed on the limbs and the head. One of the reasons why I wanted to use a scarf instead of the hat. But I'm really happy with it, and I will definitely make more of these. Teresa, it's by Teresa Richardson, and I'm just really happy about it. He makes me happy, makes me smile. So this is going to be my mom's birthday present. I used Red Heart yarn for my stash, and a tan and a sort of sage green and a G hook. And yes, I'm reading this because I'll forget if I don't. To complete this project, you need to know how to magic loop or the equivalent. She says chain 3 and work the number of stitches into the chain 3 stitch. And then you need to know how to single crochet, reverse single crochet, which I did, but I still don't know how to do it. To tell you how to do it, it just looks like you're doing it instead of going right to left, left to right. Half double crochet, slip stitch, double decrease single crochet, work in a continual round, and sew in order to attach the pieces. You also need to embroider, which is a little more tricky than you think with the stuffed animal. If you want to make the embroidered eyes and nose, what she did was she had you go right through the head to do this, which was interesting. I learned something with this. So that's my little Ojichi bear by Teresa Richardson. I love it.
Alrighty, next on the needles. I'm still planning on doing the twin sets sweater and cardigan by Claire Montgomery for Mom from the book Knitting Vintage. And I plan on using Yarn Bee Andy's Alpaca in Arabesque colorway. But I have not cast that on, and I'm not going to until I get something off the needles.
I don't have anything else on the hooks, on the needles that I'm planning. Of course, it never means anything for me, as you can tell. I'm not planning on starting anything new at this point.
Okay. So, on to Stash Enhancements, which for me is, I guess, kind of, well, it's Stash Enhancement. For me, I started a crafty class for spindling, I hadn't started it last week, but my supported spindle and my 3 fibers came in. So not only do I have that as a stash enhancement, but I have now a new section called spinning. So I got 3 fibers. They smell very sheepy. The first fiber is Louette, which is the kind of sheep, I guess, Louette North America, and it comes from New Zealand.
Kind of a camel color.
Yeah, it's kind of brown. I'm not taking it out. Although you might see it better from this little crappy piece of crap. No, I'm not going to pull that out. Then the Louette North American. Are they both North American?
Might be a 2-color sheep.
No, but this one says it's a blue-faced Leicester silver.
That's pretty. It's very white.
It's very white. I like it. And then the one I haven't started yet, I guess they're all put out by Louette North American. I guess the other sheep was New Zealand. This is a black Jacob top.
And that is so pretty.
I like this, and I'm saving it for last.
It's probably the prettiest color of the bunch. It's very dark.
I want to save that one for when I can spin a little better. So try not to laugh, please, when you see my spinning. It's not very good right now. Although it is a lot more even than it was when I first did it. Actually I've only been spinning for a day. I'm not showing it.
No, I just want to feel it.
It's not very soft.
It feels like it's bulky. That you do a bulky.
Yeah, I didn't intend to do bulky, but that's how it came out.
Well, you're just starting.
But I started on Friday nights, and I haven't been able to knit since because I worked Saturday, Sunday. Did I say knit? Spin since. So here it is so far. I'm not going to untwist it from the spindle because when I do, it kind of untwists itself.
You might be able to respin it if it untwists.
Well, I started asking people questions, like why does it untwist? And apparently, the bulkier it is, the less likely it is to hold twist. Actually, Mrs. Helm, who is
Lacey One
on Ravelry, she's been spinning for a long time, and
2 years at least, yeah.
She gave me some tips on how to keep the twist from untwisting after I pull it off the spindle, and I'll take another look at that after I get off of here. But if you want to see a better idea, it's very bulky.
Very thick.
Oh, it's actually kind of holding now, although it's secured down. It's been in the spindle for a couple of days, so I mean, I guess it makes sense it would hold now. And I asked a coworker who spins, and she's like, "Yeah, that's just gonna happen with your spinning when you're doing bulky. When you do a little thinner, it should hold on its own." So I'm gonna probably take this off the spindle and use the rest of the white to try to practice a thinner weight.
Yeah.
So I'll try that maybe tonight.
I'm impressed. I couldn't do it.
So, well, yeah, you could if you really wanted to. Although,
yeah,
it would hurt your own.
I'd have to use a spinning wheel.
Apparently, spinning wheel is easier, but I want to make sure I like this before I get a wheel. So, I mean, it's kind of yarn. We'll see if it stays yarn when I take it off.
You can make a little something out of it.
I don't know if I'll be able to make anything out of it. This is playing right now. I want to get the weight right before I use the black.
Curly cute.
Yeah, it's just the way I twist it on there. It's actually, it won't stay that way.
We're having fun.
But look, it's actually pretty consistent weight.
Mm-hmm.
But once I get a thinner weight, I'll do the black one. And then I can make that last one. Maybe I'll be able to knit something on the black. I figured the white and the brown, that's play yarn. The black I'd like to actually maybe make something out of. But yeah, that's spinning. Not very much, and not overly impressive, but it's there.
It's impressive.
So on to you.
Stash enhancement?
Oh yeah, it is stash. Yep, stash
Do you
enhancement.
have any more stash
No,
enhancements?
that was it.
Okay, my stash enhancements were mostly gifted from her. The yarn I'm using for this project, about 4 skeins of it. The Lions brand, Hometown USA. This was gifted to me. It's a San Diego navy, so I have 4 new balls of yarn of that. She gave me all her Takumi needles, which is quite a gift.
I wasn't using them, so.
So here's the straight, the larger sizes in the case, and without the 2 that I'm using. So I better learn how to knit. These are the smaller ones, the shorter ones, not the smaller ones. They're the same size needles, but they're smaller in length. I'm not sure what's in this one.
Those are fixed circulars.
Oh, these are the Takumi fixed circulars. She gave me a couple of sets of these as well.
I started out with Takumis, and then I fell in love with Knit Picks.
I love the Knit Picks, but these will be fine for me because I don't know how much knitting I will actually be doing, although I'm beginning to enjoy it more with the more projects that I'm finding I can do that are more simple. These are more of the fixed. And then she gave me a set of, how about these?
Those are the interchangeable ones. You have to watch the Takumi interchangeable because the wood will come loose from the metal.
So these are the interchangeables. I'm not sure what size the cords are. I haven't had a chance to look.
Oh, there's multiple sizes. I can't remember.
So I'm excited about that, too, because I only have 1 Knit Picks. I love my Knit Picks, but again, I don't know how much knitting I'll be doing. These will be more than fine. I'm really excited about them. So those are my stash enhancements. Lots of knitting type supplies and 4 skeins of yarn. So I've kind of made out like a bandit. Have I mentioned I have a really awesome daughter? She's tired right now, though.
No, I think that my hair's wacky anyway.
I won't know the difference.
Okay. I'm sorry, I am not the most enjoyable person to watch right now. I'm very tired, but I want to make sure that I podcasted.
Starting to get hot in here.
We have a news section that we kind of did last week, which is writing.
I haven't done your obsessions yet.
I don't have any obsessions.
I do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm not sure if, well, I already mentioned that I went to my first virtual knit night, which can very easily become an obsession for me. Unfortunately, I can't do it, but probably more than maybe once or twice a month. I just can't because I have to get up at 4 in the morning, and it starts at 8 p.m. Central Time, which is 9 p.m. over here. So about an hour is all I can do, and then even then I'm pushing it. But I enjoyed myself immensely. I took advantage of 2 Craftsy yarn deals this week. I was really bad, except the fact that it was a deal made it better.
Isn't that stash enhancement instead of obsession?
I think this is obsessions because it hasn't arrived yet.
Oh.
I spent $14 plus shipping and handling for 5 skeins of yarn, totaling about 1,600 yards. It's worsted weight, and then $13.50 plus shipping and handling for 1,900 yards of DK weight yarn. So I think I spent like a total of $40 for almost 3,000 yards of yarn.
But it's surprise colorway.
Yes, I don't. The only catch is I don't know what the colorways are. So it's kind of neat. I'm excited about that. I know that they're going to be putting colors together that work. Whether or not I like them will be something to be seen. But I'm really excited about it because the colorways that they mentioned, I like quite a few of them. And I'm just really excited about it because the price is so good. And my husband was like, okay, just make sure you use them. So I bought them. And they were just too good to pass up. I heard from Lois from Knitting for Bag on Ravelry.
Oh, yeah.
And the 2 bags I ordered are ready. The payment has gone through and it should be shipping any time now. So I'm looking forward to that.
But mine are too.
Yes, thank you, Lois. I'm looking forward. I know it's hard for her to get those out with all the stuff going on in Maine. So I really appreciate her getting that to us. And now I guess we'll start with our writing.
Okay, sorry. I'm writing down the people that I want to mention in the show notes. Alrighty. So, writing. Last week I mentioned that my mom and I are working on a shared story together, which is a combination of a story that she's been working on a story that she's editing for publication. And so characters from there, and then characters from a story of mine that will never see the light of day, most likely.
Maybe.
It's never getting finished. I've torn it apart so many times that anyway, so I finished it. She has it on her desk. It's in her court now. So I'm not sure how many words that was. It was about 35 pages, though.
Yeah, it's a lot. When we say 35 pages, you have to understand that it's got all the asides in it. It's got repetition in it. So it's not really like we're writing 35 pages every 3 weeks or whatever it is. We have stuff that carries over from week to week, and then we add stuff and we take things out. The story, I do have it. I've blocked out or written to about the first 12 pages. And this is mainly answering back and forth.
I guess you could say it's similar to role playing.
Similar, yeah. It's very addictive.
I had a personal goal of trying to write about an hour most of the week, and I did complete that goal up until the point that I got my spindle. And at that point, I passed on the shared story. Anyways, I didn't get my spindle until Friday, though. No, Thursday. So most of the week since I podcasted last, I wrote an hour a day.
And I'm not doing too much with the timer. It's very difficult for me to find time to do all the stuff I do with my work, and Taya works too, but I don't have a block of time. When she's not working, she has more of a block of time.
Yeah, and by saying working an hour a day, I meant when I was off.
Right. And so that I've got interruptions and things like that during the day. She's lucky in a way that she works at night, so she's up at night. But not to say that it's not hard. I'm just saying that my time is a little bit more. Yes, you're just not.
It's all easy.
It's all easy for you.
Living a vampire schedule.
Well, we all know you're a vampire. Anyway, I did work on the shared story. I've gotten about maybe a quarter of the way through it, not including the parts I just blocked out. And I also managed to write something to a prompt that was probably about maybe 12 to 1,500 words that people liked enough that they are wondering what happens next. So maybe something will come out of that.
She's notorious for doing cliffhangers and
I like cliffhangers.
Then not doing anything with it.
But cliffhangers, then I like people, they want to know more. So that's the whole idea of writing, leaving them on a hook. Anyway, so I did no work on my synopsis. I think I'm avoiding it until I can get to that class. But I will try to do some of that next week. This week, next week. So
because in order to get her story published, she needs to have a synopsis, and she's just avoiding it.
Well, I had it already accepted. I don't want to do a synopsis. I will do my synopsis. I need somebody to kind of get behind me and promise me something for a synopsis. Publication, something. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with my writing, and that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so I guess that leads us on to thank yous. I wanted to say thanks for the shout-outs. Got a shout-out from Lauren from Lemon Crochet podcast, and she's Lemon Crochet on Ravelry and Plurk.
Yes, thank you, Lauren.
And also a shout-out from Dawn from, I almost said from Knitting My Bag, but that's not right.
Wolf Farms.
From Wolf Farms. And she is Knitting Wolf
Thank you,
on
Dawn.
Ravelry and Plurk. And I haven't seen all of either of your podcasts. I half listened to Lauren's while I was doing the show notes.
I was watching her. She was so cute. You have to watch it. She's got the cutest little, well, it's not her kitten, but you'll see when you watch the podcast.
So there was a kitten?
Yes, it looks like Snickerdoodle.
I didn't register. You're saying I need to see the kitten.
It's a cute little
I
kitten.
wonder if it was her,
it's her
brother,
her boyfriend's brother.
Okay,
yeah.
Because I remember hearing about the kitten. Okay, I have to see the kitten.
But she gets so excited, so you really got to see this one. It's cute.
And then I haven't watched Dawn's yet. I'm really behind on my podcast. Also, I want to say thank you to our new Ravelry group members. We're now up to 30 members. Yay! And it's getting a little more active there, which makes me happy. I need to go and answer everybody because I've been working the past 2 nights, so I haven't been on. So we have 6 new members since we last podcast. Actually, I'm not sure if Laura was...
I think Laura was there last week, but I'm not sure.
Well, I'm just going to mention her again anyway, because I can't remember. LP Star, whose name is Lori, she joined. Then Anastasia, who's Anastasia Knits, and she has the Anastasia Knits design group.
Very good. Check it out when you get the chance.
Barbara B. Matthews, who is BJBM on Ravelry. Joni, who is Lots of Yarn. And I know that's at least her Ravelry name. I'm not sure if that's her Plurk name or not. And she has the Joni Knits podcast, and that was the
Virtual Knit Night.
Virtual Knits Night we went to last night. So it's
Not last night. Thursday night.
whatever.
Right. Oh.
Anyway, then Lacey One, who is a personal friend of ours.
Mhm.
We've known her for years.
And she didn't have her name on there, so we didn't want to give her name out.
And then All That Cake Knit, who is Dorothy. She's our most recent member.
Yay. Welcome, everybody.
So welcome, everybody. Thank you, everybody. And
We'll try to be a little more coherent next week.
I don't know why she's incoherent. I have an excuse. I have 3 hours of sleep. I don't
I'm
know what
dealing
her
with
problem
somebody
is.
who's incoherent. It's hard to be coherent with an incoherent sidekick. She woke up.
This is the Nurse with Needles podcast, not the.
It woke you up, didn't it? Anyway.
Thank you very much for viewing, and hopefully we'll be more awake next week.
Happy knitting and happy crocheting.
And have a great week. God bless.
God bless.
Bye.